See you. Program will begin in 1 minute. Please find your seats. Let's start finishing up. Shimmy, tell him to finish. Shimmy, tell him to finish. Cut him, tell him to cut him.
There were times when Torah was learned in hiding. A mechanech whispered in the cellar. A candle flickered behind shuttered windows, because learning Torah was illegal. And living as a Yid, dangerous.
Der Platz gewählt verschickt dahin zu auf Kamme Shonim Wir Walda Motes geteilt seine Piulis in Apotzes Ayadus, hat es meint an Kegen der Meluche.
But they never stopped. Not the parents, not our Rebbeim, not the Mechanchim. The Rebbe Rashab built Hamechanchim Temimim. The Frierdiker Rebbe fought for every child, every letter, every sefer. They knew without chinuch there is no future, not for Yidden, not for Lubavitch. It wasn't just chinuch, it was a mission, a sacred inheritance, a fire that burns on. Today, the world looks different. The classrooms are open, the shelves are full, but the shlichus of chinuch remains. 50 years ago, the Rebbe declared a shnas ha-chinuch, an education that reaches beyond the classroom, b'shachbecha uvkumecha, into the child's entire day. How do we teach a child not only to know, but to feel, not only to behave, but to live with chayas? Today's mechanach may have tools and technology, but the weight is no lighter. He's entrusted with the child's hanhaga, his warmth, his emunah. He's not just a malamed. He's a mechanach, a lamplighter, carrying the same vision the Rebbe demanded. Chinuch with lebedekite, with focus, with a Hasidic heart. And for the shlichus of chinuch, the Rebbe promises, dem Eberster gibt dem Koches. The world evolves, but the Warmkeit, the one that began in Lubavitch and burned through gullus and oppression, still lives. In every classroom, in every lesson, and every tier of a mechanech, there's a neshama that's still holding on to the Rebbe's words, to the Rebbe's mission, to the Rebbe's bren. Because chinuch today, along with learning, is instilling a Warmkeit for Yiddishkeit and a deep hiskashrus to our Rebbe. It's Yiras Shemayim alive within each child, carrying the Ruach Yisrael Saba of our Rebbeim. Raising children who know, I am the Rebbe's, and I can bring Mashiach.
I'm getting ready to say the Rebbe's Kapitel. Now I'm going to think about the Rebbe for a moment.
Bei den Kindern, wie man es bepeil, als allein schreibt, hat es bei einem aggressere Chavivus, bei Pashtus, sieht man, wie der Sederwies, als steckt reis dem Zung und legt weg dem Zung zwischen den beiden Zähnen von Meil und Matte und vertracht sie und verkatscht die Marvel und guckt auf der Penis, auf den Pencil, mit welchem schreibt, was soll mit dem Kern und was soll schreiben. Danach noch so eine Sehne, was seine Mehade, und statt machen nach sie mit Stamm, macht dabei noch ein Ziel mit der Taske und Chulo, alle Unionen, was bei Godeli, das ist noch, von der Mitzvahs, kommt das Reis bei den Kindern, wie Unionen, und es hat noch ein größere Chavivus le Meila.
Please rise.
ידיים שלנו בקום עלינו אדם אזי חיים בלענו חרי ספם בנו אזי המים שטפנו נחלה עפר על נפשנו אזי עבר על נפשנו המים הזידיינים ברוך אדוני שלנו צנות Refleshinayem, Nafshin, Xipanim, let me pack yakshin, Hapak Nish, Barananim, let no. As rain obey shame, Madina, Yaishamayim va.
פרק תהילים לזכות כל תושבי ארץ הקודש, וביקשו להוסיף לזכות אמא של אחת מהמחנכים שנמצאת כעת בבית רפואה, אסתר נסורו בסריב כל רפואה שלמה. שיר למעלויס אסואנה יליורים מיין יובו יזרי עזרי מעמדינוי אויס השמיים ואורץ עליתן למו את רגלךו על יונום שמרךו הנה לא יונום ולא אישון שמר ישראל אדינוי שמרךו אדינוי צילכו על יד ימינךו ימם השמש להככו ויורח בלילו אדינו ישמרכו מכל רוע ישמר אס נפשכו אדינו ישמר צייסכו ויכו מיתו ועדילו.
Good evening, Mechanchim, Bruchim Haboim, to the banquet of the Kinus Hamechanchim. Tafshin Pei Hey. I consider it an incredible privilege to be here in this room with so many Jungalite who devote their lives to be the shining light and the guiding light for the young generation, for our Talmidim, at all different stages of their chinuch. I spent 7 hours on a plane this morning, and you know what that means? I prepared by learning Chumash Rashi, and in today's Chitas, it says, Ba'ei Sahi Hivdil Hashem es Shevet HaLevi. Who is Shevet HaLevi? So we all know from V'zayis HaBracha, Yeru Mishpatecha LeYakev V'Seirascha LeYisrael. Those who devote their lives to teaching Torah, to Yiddish Kinder, to Yiddish Bachrim, they are the Shevet HaLevi. Ba'ei Sahi Hivdil Hashem es Shevet HaLevi. What a privilege it is to have a chelik and to be mishtatif in this kinus l'tzadikim, amich kulam tzadikim, hana lahem v'hana la'elam. A kinus of Yidden that devote their lives to being megala, the tzadik in every Yiddish kind, and to instill in Yiddish kinder a varmkeit and a chayis beruach Yisrael sava. I went a little further on my journey, and I learned Rambam. And in today's 3 Prakim Rambam, we learn about the Kayin lighting the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. Aaron HaKayin, his task was to light up the Shivas HaNeiros. And we know that it says in Chassidus that the Neiros are Neshamas Yisrael. And the people in this room have the incredible privilege of igniting the neiros in our Talmidim and Yiddish Kinder so that they should have a varmkeit and a bren and a chayis in being lebedike, freiliche soldiers in the Rebbe's army to bring an end to this galus and to usher in the coming of Mashiach, take it from Yad Mamish. It's a special privilege for us to welcome one of the outstanding mechanchim, Rabbi Mendel Majeski, who is a Rav in a Kehillah in Kingston, Pennsylvania, and at the same time a Melamed in Kita Aleph, instilling in very young children a love for Torah and a love for Yiddishkeit, and putting tremendous keiches into making special parsha sheets for them to make it fun, to make it exciting, and we're privileged to hear from Rabbi Majeski a Dvar Torah this evening.
First of all, I would like to, on behalf of, I'm sure most people in this room, give a great big yasher koyach to the organizers, the people who put this event together. It's the thoughtfulness and the attention to detail of every single moment of this Kinus is truly something special, and really the highlight of Mechanich's here in many ways. Shkoyach. So by many Shabbos, the Fabrengens, probably almost all of them, the Rebbe would always start off the Fabrengen connecting the time they're in, the moment, the day of the month, or whatever else is going on with the Parshas HaShavua. So I'm going to attempt to make even though there are some sikhas where the Rebbe actually makes direct connections, I'm going to make a personal connection between something that is a sikha, a very well-known sikha on Parshas Eikev, and my feeling as being a mechanech. The sikha is from Shabbos, Parshas Eikev, Toshin Tezayin. Later was Muga and Chelik Bezel Kut Sichis. The Rebbe discusses how, because this is the Shiva Din Echemta, we are in the time that we are reading the Haftarah, that is the time when we are having consolation from the Eibishter for being in Golos for the Churban Beis HaMikdash. And the Haftarah has to be Me'ein, the Parsha has to be Me'ein the Parsha. So where do we see Nechama in Parshas Eikev? And the Rebbe points to a pasuk in Sheni in this week's Parsha. The pasuk says, "Hamelichacha b'midbar hagadol v'hanoira nachash saraf v'akrav v'tzimayin asher ein mayim." And the Rebbe says this pasuk is the Nechama. This pasuk is where we find Nechama for Golus. How is this pasuk Nechama for Golus? The Rebbe says because we know that Yediyah Samachla is Chatzi Refu. When a person has a diagnosis and he has a prognosis, he knows exactly what's wrong and he knows how to fix it. That's the ultimate consolation. He knows how to get out of this hole he finds himself in. And a Yid finds himself in Golus. He finds himself in a place, a place of, he's lost. He says, if I tell you how you got in here, tell you how you got into this mess, you have a roadmap how to get out. How did we get into Golus, says the Rebbe? Midbar hagadol v'hanoira nachash sarav v'akrav. Tzimayin asher ein mayim. These are the exact steps that brought us to this exact matzav we're in, this Golus that we're in. And knowing this gets us out of this problem. The first step into Golus, says the Rebbe, the first step of this slippery slope is Midbar hagadol. A Yid knows that a Yid lives in the city. A midbar is a place, it's not a yishuv Adam. Atem kruyim Adam, Yidin are Adam. Adam doesn't live in a midbar. And the midbar is Gadol. A person starts to look around and says, this midbar is vast, it's tremendous, it's impressive. When I was small, when I was little, I lived in Crown Heights, and I thought 770 was the epicenter of Olam Hazeh. And beyond, the whole universe surrounds 770, and in 770, my spot specifically. If you go past President and Utica, who knows what's there? There's a big cliff. It's the end of the world. The world is Crown Heights, and 770 is the epicenter of the whole entire universe. Lubavitch is where it's at. And then we become mature, and we have access to numbers and statistics, and we start looking around and we say, Star Grace of Welt, the whole world is not 770. The whole world is not Lubavitch. There's a big world out there. Don't be so naive. He says that, the Rebbe says that's the first step into Golus. The Rebbe actually connects this. He says this is a mistake because the truth is that naive cook, that's the truth. That happens to be the truth. The Rebbe says two stories of the Rebbe Manash. One story, the Rebbe Manash was, remember the Rebbe Manash is coming from a small little town in Lubavitch, small little rabbiner, and he comes to the train station, and the conductor doesn't wait for him. He lets the train go. The Rebbe Manash was unimpressed with this behavior, and the Rebbe says a short time later, this conductor lost his job. He was removed from his post. Whether his superior knew the reason why he lost his job or not, machnish tais, doesn't have bechira b'chlal. Olam Hazeh is here to serve the Rebbe. The one who's Oimed Beinechem, Bein Aleikechem, the Nasi Hadar. Someone's getting in the way of the Rebbe's travel. Someone's being mevalvel to the Rebbe's avodah. He needs to be removed. And similarly, another story that Rebbe said that once Rebbe Manash was traveling with his nephew through marriage, Rabbi Shaya Berlin, and they came to some city. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of the city. So, came to a city, and all the goyim of the city came out with bread and salt to give kavod to the Rebbe Manash. And Rabbi Shai Berlin turned to his uncle and said, Vetter, guck was kavod megitach, look like this honor they're showing you. So Rebbe Manash said, Petach, Petach. Don't you know that it says in the Torah that the Yidden are going to be the blessing for the entire world? Yes, but we are the ma'at which the whole entire world surrounds. The small minority that the whole entire world is dependent on. The Rebbe says that this is the first step into Golus. This is the beginning, the slippery slope. From there, it becomes Noida. Not only is it a big world, we have to contend with it. We have to be afraid of it. And we have to be involved. We have to be mitzchashev with what the world thinks. So if you're afraid of the world, we got to interact with it. And from there it goes to nachash, which the nachash has a venom that is hot. The person says, once I'm involved in it, it's take geschmack, it's fort geschmack. And you start enjoying it, then it becomes sadaf. It burns away all the geschmack in leikus. It burns away all the geschmack in Eibishter, in Torah mitzvahs. And finally, akrav. Akrav has a cold venom, he becomes cold to leikus. And the final step, Rachmana litzlan, sabit to the golos, that it's simoyin. Even when he has a hirar tshuva, he has a moment that he is nisoider. He wants to connect. He feels that simoyin, but it's ein moyim. He doesn't know where the water is. He doesn't even know that the Torah, ein mayim el Torah, is where he has to turn. Being a mechanech, one of the greatest blessings that I could find in my own life, interacting with tmimistic, a beautiful Yiddish kinderlach, is that we have an opportunity every single day to shut off our adult mind, our sophisticated mind, and look at the world and connect with the Eibishter and Yiddishkeit, Torah and mitzvahs, the way a child sees the world, the way a child sees Torah and mitzvahs, with the simplest pshittos and tmimos, exactly the way it truly is, without any sophistication, without any complication. And l'chayra, if I may say, this is the Rebbe's cook. This is the Rebbe's gang, the Rebbe's worldview. If you want to put the Rebbe's worldview in one sentence, I heard recently a Yid, not a Lubavitcher, he was talking about Lubavitch, about the Rebbe's cook, and he said, so the Rebbe's, he came to the realization, he says, you're trying to tell me that the Rebbe's cook is that when it says something about a likus, and it says something in Torah, after is it fart emes. Maybe it's true. That's the, yeah. There's a, obviously we know the examples. There's a war in Eretz Yisrael. There's something going on. Very pashut. Why, what's the reason to be afraid? V'yaru mimeka, put on a pair of tefillin. Make a rally. You have a problem in your life, check your talis, check your tefillin, mezuzahs. Pashut. What it says in the Svarim is real. It's not just something we learn about. It's kipshutay. I heard a story about a woman who was in her youth, she was a CBS reporter in the 80s. Now she's a Balash Tshuva, Lubavitcher woman. She was doing a story on Lubavitch, on the Rebbe. And she said, ultimately that led to her becoming a fully fruma woman, Shomer Torah mitzvahs. And she said that she sat with the Rebbe. She spoke with the Rebbe, asking the Rebbe all kinds of questions. And she realized the Rebbe is a really, he's a smart guy, sophisticated. He's a knowledgeable person. And she turned to the Rebbe, and after the whole conversation said, Rebbe, I'm just curious. When you take your 3 steps back, Shemoneh Esrei, you don't feel silly? You're not a child. You don't feel silly. You're interacting with the divine. You're interacting with the Eibishter. You took 3 steps back, like you moved away. You come forward. What is this? And she said that the Rebbe's response to this question is what ultimately led her to becoming frum and led her to now daven every single day, taking 3 steps back herself. And the Rebbe's response was a smile. Ad kana sipur. Her interpretation of the sipur is, at least her interpretation of what happened was, she said, after all the sophistication, after all the chassidus, after all the knowledge, after all the ideas, we come back to the mispalo l'dazeh chinuch and come back to the simple relationship with the Eibusher like a child. The simplicity, that smile, that's what inspired her. That's what brought her in. So the Eibusher is a halfen that every one of us should be able to continue to have this great zechus, arichas yom mishanim toives, and bring all our talmidim to the gula mitzvah shlema, taketh from yad mamash.
We say every single morning in davening, we say Le'elam Yehei Adam, Yirei Shamayim V'Seiser, etc. The first thing that we see over there is first have good midas, behave like a mensch, which is really one of the big things about Chassidus. We see in Sefer HaZichronos, which is something that I would teach the children a lot. There's so many examples and real stories of people that had real good midas. And we're not necessarily talking about big lamdanim. It was more by the Pashta Yidden. Very good midas. And therefore, in the classroom, I would put a big emphasis on having good midas, behaving menschlich to one another, respecting one another, and everything that we do in the classroom, whether it's walking, standing, sitting, playing, learning, everything should be done with good midas in a menschliche way.
Zet wenn in chinuch von jeder Kind. Was will das Eltern für die Kinder, der Fall, was sie viel nach das, wie sie darf zu sein. Hat mich schnell erfochten, mit Pflanzen in der Mai, als sie da in Joni, was leid, die im Lefes. Was für das Mann und Bocken soll nicht sein, da verhalten in ein Chaser, eine Mabetipa und die Seelis, was mit in ihm eingepflanzt. Zusammen damit, dieser Iker in China, aber soll einpflanzen in demselben Kind, als darf halten in einem Beiten sein und darf sich halten in einem wachsen.
When teachers make something their own, something that they have a chayas in it, the children pick up on it, and they have a tremendous chayas that wasn't there before. Over the years, what I really learned to do and saw is adding song and chayas and joy to the davening and the learning. Even boys that are at times more quiet and not as involved and energetic, when you implement songs in the davening and learning, all of a sudden they pipe up and they're much more chayastic and involved than before. They just learned how to read. And in order to introduce the pasuk to the boys, I started laning with them. And that introduces them to the pasuk, breaks them in, and when we start learning the pasuk, they're already familiar with the pasuk. Many boys come out of the class knowing how to lane.
Sagt man jeder Kind, a jeder Sach mit verbunden mit Teira, darf sich eingewöhnen, an der Gehle meiste Bepeil unheimlich davon, weil meiste hohe Jiker, und beim Juchat bei der Gehle sagt Gotten, was Machshove ist Lavdavke, Maschenke meiste Islay.
From when I was very young, I always loved Mivtzoyim. It was something that I was very passionate about. The way I feel that I can engage the Talmidim, to have a love for Yiddishkeit and a Varamkeit to the Rebbe's and Yanim, is through doing things that are not so much part of the curriculum, but more like extras. For example, when we go to the park, we always go with a pair of tefillin. There's always an excitement by the Talmidim, how many Yidden we're going to get, and if we're going to find a Yid to put on tefillin.
We are the real Jews, right? Eibishter's kinder, bring Mashiach now.
Some kids that could be not so in tuned in the learning, but when it comes to Mivtzoyim, they're with the biggest passion. And you can see the chayas and the excitement. It's just something that they're overly joyed about. And if they're overly joyed and overly excited about that, then when it comes to something else that they're maybe not as excited, this will like integrate even into other things, because they feel they're not the one that's sitting behind the desk. Now they are the one actually that's being the mashpia to the world. There's something that I feel brings into them a whole new energy.
Is a verstandig keichet para psineke shel bisraba. Azene deme reia lishmiya. An zede spoilers. Was wird von a Sach shemeya. A viele wenn der Hetos von Edim der Monim von Tate Mame. Oder bishas der Reia bein of Mamos in die Spoilers und die Samsus. Wie das wird dem angenommen Leben herrlich, bis er mir sagt, dass Gott im Vergleich nicht eine dem reale Schmier.
Alle Talmidim zusammen, Kosse verfallen,
In our classroom, we work very hard to make the learning alive in a sense where the boys actually could take away from the learning, from the lesson of the day. They could have something they could apply to their daily life. As a third grade Rebbe, we focus on the parshas that speak about Yosef HaTzadik. And I teach the boys and farbring a lot about Yosef HaTzadik's life and really delve into what he went through. And I really speak to the boys and tell them how many times in life things seem to be so bad to us. Someone's hurting us. We have anger inside. It's really ultimately for your good. And that's really what I'm trying to impart to the boys. To live with Yosef, to live with the Torah, to live with the Mishnayos, to live it every single day, because they could take lessons out of everything they're learning. Not just when they're little children, but when they become big children too, when they become adults.
Als was kon sein, gam ki yaskin be Yosef mimeno. Idor du druvas chanech lenar al pi darkei.
Easy, you see, to work on our midos, but here is the key. Your precious neshama, a part of Hashem, can rise above feelings to overcome them.
Rabbi, I thank you Avremo, just know every letter's a gem. With each word you say, you connect to Hashem. The highest you'll feel when with voice you will sing. How great it's to speak from your heart to our King.
Each year we keep growing, each lesson a guide. Each Rebbe is raising a yid filled with pride, with love for the Torah and spreading its light. A chassid who loves Yiddishkeit. Rebbe, I thank you for all that I am. You showed me the right way, you showed me I can. Each story, each lesson of what I should do. Rebbe, I'll always be grateful to you. Is all that we learn just paper and ink? How does it affect what I do and think? What makes it alive? What makes it so real? The Yiddishkeit, something that I'll always feel.
Avremo, all you learn will shine clear and bright when you are the giver and spread Torah's light. The Rebbe's mitzvahim and helping a friend when raising another, you too will ascend.
Each year we keep growing, each lesson a guide. Each Rebbe is raising a yid filled with pride, with love for the Torah and spreading its light. A chassid who loves Yiddishkeit. Rebbe, I thank you for all that I am. You showed me the right way, you showed me I can. Each story, each lesson of what I should do. Rebbe, I'll always be grateful to you. Rebbe, the Torah's a vast, endless sea. Does every part, every word matter to me? Sometimes it seems far and has no effect. The lesson seems so old, how can I connect?
Avremo, come join me as we journey through. Everything we learned, a lesson for you. We'll see how each message, each tzaddik so great, is really a guide to whom you can relate. Each year we keep growing, each lesson a guide. Each Rebbe is raising a yid filled with pride, with love for the Torah and spreading its light. A chassid who loves Yiddishkeit.
Oy vey,
Wow, how amazing. As my journey progressed, and I finished learning the Maimer printed in the Dvar Malchus, I came across a beautiful letter from the Rebbe, very pertinent to tonight's occasion, in which the Rebbe writes, Hine bichlal yudua daiti, u'kamesha kosafti lekamo, shekol hamuchsher laved b'shetach chinuch al taras hakodesh, ashrei chelkei v'chelek b'nei beisei, hein begashmius v'hein beruchnius. Could you ask for something more appropriate to a Kinus Hamechanchim than that? Each and every one of us, ashrei chelkeinu, how fortunate we are. Sai begashmius, sai beruchnius, that we're given the privilege of being oisik in chinuch al taras hakodesh. I heard a story that a mechanech once came to Rabbi Chadakov, zechreinu levracha, to complain about the fact that he hadn't had a raise for a while and he needed a higher salary. And Rabbi Chadakov said to him, I can discuss it with you, but before we begin the discussion, we have to agree on one thing. That if it wasn't for the fact that you're a Bal Mishpacha and you have to support a family, there's a big shaila, who needs to be paying whom? Should the Meisid be paying you, or should you be paying the Meisid for the privilege of teaching Yiddish Kinder Torah? So the privilege that we have to work for the Rebbe, and to work in the Rebbe's Meisdas, and to teach, and a younger man once came over to me in 770 by Akafis, and he told me that he recently was appointed to go and be a mechanech in one of the Meisdas, and can I give him some words of inspiration? So I said to him, if the Rebbe called you into Heichal Kodshay and took out a pack of gems and said, I'm giving you this pack of gems to polish and to bring back to me shinings on glanzen, what would your approach be? That is exactly your situation. The Rebbe is entrusting you with a pack of gems, with Talmidim, at whatever stage in their education they are. And it's your privilege to polish them, to make them shine, and to deliver the finished product of a Yid who is enthusiastic in his Yiddishkeit, a Chassid who's enthusiastic in his shlichus, in his commitment to the Rebbe and everything that the Rebbe teaches us. What a privilege it is, Ashreinu Matev Chelkeinu, that we're able to work in chinuch. We are very privileged to have with us this evening, and not only this evening, but actually a Yid who is responsible for organizing the Kinus Hamechanchim for 25 years. A Yid, a Chassid, who is the director of the Office of Chinuch of Merkaz L'Inyanei Chinuch, who has more than 50 years experience in chinuch, who very generously shares his experience and his vast knowledge in the area of chinuch with anyone who reaches out to him. It's our great privilege to hear this evening from Harav Nachum Kaplan, soll sein gesund und stark.
Abaisai, you've given me an impossible task. How can anybody follow the kids, the malamdim that we saw earlier? It's wonderful to have the light shining in my eyes, but I can't read what I wrote. So it's going to be a very short speech. Yeah. need something. Abba said, I want to make a shechiyonu tonight. Shechiyonu that Baruch Hashem, the torch is being passed to another younger generation. Das darf ein Patschen. Bitte die have over. Some 40 years ago, Rabbi Garari called me in and told me that he needs somebody to slowly work his way into his position. I demurred, gerät, Narrigkeit. Rabbi Garari demanded of me, will gehen zum Schwager und sagen, als ist muchen, als ich bin muchen dazu. And he told me to come back the next day. And the next day he said to me, die erste Sach, was du hast mir gesagt, das heißt, als ihr sollt trachten wegen einander Menschen. Der Schwager hat mir gesagt, auf was wart ihr? Ihr müsst doch zunehmen an Menschen. Ihr müsst doch übergeben zu Bislach. Das hat der Rebbe gesagt. The Rebbe didn't believe that retirement was an appropriate way to end a career. Certainly not a life. But to bring younger people in, new young blood, energetic people who'll be able to build upon what you started, that's a pkuda. That's not something you can wait for. It's something you have to plan for. Baruch Hashem, I'm glad that the Kinus has grown to the point that it has, and the credit has to go to Reb Zalman. Zalman Lothal stepped into the office immediately, rolled up his sleeves, und genommen arbeiten. But Reb Zalman is not an independent operator. Reb Zalman works for Merkez Liyana Chinuch, and specifically for Rav Mendel Kotlarski. Mendel was the one who said, I'm going to undertake this. Yasher koyach. Wie viel mit dem Patschen nachher und Patschen dahin? Yasher koyach mit dem ganzen Herzen. Mir redt alle wegen dem Schuss von Amalamed. I want to go back to sources. Lass mir reden wegen dem Schuss von Amalamed ein bisschen. Die Gemara sagt in Baba Basra, Matzdik Yorabim kekichovim leilam, Eilom melamde tinekes. Sagt auf dem Marsho, melamde tinekes matzdikim esorabim, shem germim lehemshech teire bi Yisrael. Die Welt steht auf euch, Rabbi sei. Und die alle versammelte in dem Zimmer, everybody gathered in this room, which is Roiv Minyan of Mechanchim of Chabad. The Welt steht auf euch. It's not just Lubavitch is waiting for these children to grow up. Die Welt steht auf die Kinder, die Lois wachsen und sie wollen bringen Mashiach. Und das sagt der Mashiach. Der Medrash sagt, auf dem Posik, die eine Irachaim, Sevas Moches, es Ponecho Neimis, Biyamin Chonetzach. Sagt auf dem der Medrash, Altik Roseva Ela Sheva. Was ist das Sheva mit Hamol? Ela Zayin Kitish Shel Tzadikim Shasidim Lekabel Pnei Ashchina. Sagt der Medrash weiter, Roma David Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rabbeinu Elamim. Was hat David interessiert? Hat er gesagt, seh was Moches, die größte Simche seine. Hat er gesagt, Oma David, Rabbeinu Elamim, mi moidieni eze kita chavivo v'ane imo shebahem. Von die alle Kittes von Tzadikim, was dem Kabel sein Pnei Ashtrino, Wer ist die Chavivo, wer ist die Nimo? Bring der Medrash zwei Dees. Der erste Dee ist, als die, wo sie mit keinem Teromitzes bechlau, aber der zweite ist der Gleiche. Eile Seifrim und Malam die Tinekes bei Amiton, שהם עשידים למד בימינו של הקדוש ברוך הוא, שנאמר שוויסי הווי לנגד סומיד, wer ist der Tomid? Wer ist der, wo steht Tomid ala Mishmor? Wer ist der, wo sie sein, לימינו של הקדוש ברוך הוא? Wer ist der, auf wenn wir können sagen, ראו גידולים שגידלנו אחרי שחכופל הזה? אלו מלמדי תינקס. אשריכם, אשריכם, אשריכם. Gezet hebben we het altijd, kan men gewoon eens lenen. Maar dat zie je dus. The idea of a kinus of Hamechanchim originated way, way, way back. Rabbi Yitzchak Zalman Posner told me that the Rebbe told him, Zumer is a Zeit, man darf sich zusammenkommen, opfrischen sich. Opfrischen sich. To refresh yourself. And he made something small. A couple of Mechanchim, how many were there then, who got together and talked a little bit. Babisl Mashke. But 20 years later, Rabbi Chadakov called me in, and the first gem that we had, the first Kinus Hamechanchim, which lasted just for a couple of years, was Rabbi Chadakov's Yozma, oder geschickt, oder Melmaila, ich kann nicht wissen. Man darf sich auffrischen. Was meint sich auffrischen? Wer ist der Favianet? Who needs to get fresh a little bit? So I want to bring down a couple of things that you will all remember and recognize in yourselves. Nothing new. One time in 13 years, he went to see how his Keynote was doing. Kennt ihr doch meinen, Rabbi Shmuel Bashilas, given a gvir and a real estate owner? Sagt schon dort Gemara, had got a Yerusha. He had a Yerusha that he came to visit once in 13 years. Erzählt die Gemara mit ihm gesagt, Shmuel, wartet Emunoscho, sie wanderte Emunoscho. Was heißt, once in 13 years, you're living in Talmidim. Hat Rab Shmuel Bashilas gesagt, Av hochi daiti alayu. I'm thinking about them. What says you think? How did you answer the question? You were asked the question, how did you leave your Talmidim? The response, daiti alayu. I'm thinking about them. Was had the Talmid davon? How is the child inspired by the fact that you are visiting Yogina? But more importantly, why does the Gemara tell us this? Why is it important for us to know that Reb Shmuel Bashilas went once every 13 years? Was erzählt uns das the Gemara? But there is a messer here that the Gemara is trying to teach every Malamed. Daiti alayu. My children occupy me completely. I'm always thinking about their good, how I can improve a child and help a child improve. How can this child who has a learning disability of one kind or another, how can he function more efficiently? I'm thinking about him. What does the child have? The child has the product of those thoughts. And the Gemara is teaching us, Daiti olayu. Mechanchim, daiti olayu. That's the mood that you came into chinuch with. It will envelop you completely. It'll take over everything about you. Chinuch is not a career. Chinuch is a calling, it's a life. Daiti olayu. You had that the first year, the first day. Darf sich auffrischen. Sog der Rebbe, man darf sich auffrischen ein bisschen. Rav Preda hat übergelernt, der Gemorre. Ja, Allah hat übergelernt, die Gemorre sagt nicht was. 400 Mal. Und noch übergechazert noch einmal. Doch was zählt uns die Gemorre? Hat ein Kind an Nudnik. Was darf mir das wissen, was? Ein verstoppter Kopf, 800 Mal darf man ihm sagen, eine Sache. Die Gemorre, der redet nicht wegen dem Kind. Die Gemorre is teaching us, every mechanach, be patient. Find what makes this child tick. Get to the child's neshama. And if you have the patience, we don't have Rav Preda's patience, but if you have the patience to find out what makes a child tick, then he will tick for you. You had that feeling on the first day you started, embarked on chinuch. I will make every child a success. Die Gemara erzählt, Rish Lakish, Reb Shimon ben Lakish, says that it's possible for a child to be matzliach or not to be matzliach, depending upon whether the Rebbe gives him a smile. If the Malamed smiles at him, masbir loy ponim, he can learn. V'im loy talmudei kosher olav kebarzel. Doch was erzählt Reb Shimon ben Lakish dem Eise? He said, Rebbe, du gehst da rein zu den Kindern, give them a smile. Show them that you love them. Und als sagt der Rebbe nicht mehr sagen, nicht klar, ich muss verdrochen. One of the important elements of yachas of a mechanech to a mechunech is yachasei ahavo. Show him you care about him. Demonstrate to him that you care by listening, by taking care of his needs. The Rebbe Nishma says further that the mechanech is responsible begidulei hamusori shel kol talmid. He's telling this to B'chanei Handel Pleshenitzer, who is the mashpia and temchet mimim, and he says to him, Tmimim, zokta zei gidulei hamusori. How is the child growing in Gedulei HaMasori, his moral and ethical values? Die Chassidishkeit brennt bei ihm. Was brennt bei ihm? Was kocht sich? Bei Gedulei HaMasori. Und auf dem hat man gestellt in Technime. You had that in you the first day. Man darf sich auffrischen. And finally, a story that I heard from Alter Metzger, soll sein gesund. He had a Talmud, not a Lubavitcher. He taught him YU. He had a Talmud who entered the field of chinuch. And he wanted a brocha from the Rebbe. So he answered him, come to Keshal brocha. I'll go with you. And in the split second that you have when the Rebbe looks at you, I'll tell him that you're going into the field of chinuch. That Talmud went in front of him. Rabbi Metzger went right behind him. And Rabbi Metzger says to the Rebbe, is a rein in Zdei HaChinuch. So the Rebbe stretched out his hand. He had his kos in his hand. Nicht zu gießen die Wein. And he stretched it out and said, build self-confidence. Build self-confidence. Abai say, Zehu kol ha-Torah kulo. V'yidoch zilo gimu. That's what it's all about. Frisch dich up. Build self-confidence. Und der Rebbe wird helfen, dass zusammen, wenn wir gehen gegen Mashiach, was schneller now, und sagen, Rabbeinu Shalom, Ri'u gidulim shegidalnu b'cheshech hagolas hazu.
So last night, no, sorry, it was 2 days ago, I think, in Tehillim. And
think they had the pasuk Nichsefa v'gam kol nafshi. And an idea came to mind. Let's see, let's try it out. The words are probably connected somehow here. Kol so nafshi, kol so nafshi, hoy hoy nafshi, lechatzrois Hashem, lechatzrois Hashem, hoy libi, ayu b'savori, hoy 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 yeranenu el. Keilchoy libi, hoyu v'savori, yeranenu el keilchoy. From the beginning. Oy ma toivu, toivu, oy yolechoy ya'akoy. Oy ma Mishkenoisecho, ay Mishkenoisecho Yisroel. Oy ma toivu, toivu, oy yolecho Yaakov. Ma Mishkenoisecho, ay Mishkenoisecho Yisroel. Kol so nafshi, kol so nafshi, hoy hoy nafshi, lechatzrois Hashem, lechatzrois Hashem, hoy libi, hoy uvesavori, hoy 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 yeranenu el keilchoy libi, hoyo v'savori, yeranenu el keilchoy. So the high part one more time. No yoy ni yoy 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 ni yichsefo, hui vegam kol so vegam. Kol so nafshi, kol so nafshi, hoy hoy nafshi, lechatzrois Hashem, lechatzrois Hashem, hoy libi, hoy uvesavori, hoy hoy yeranenu el keilchoy libi, hoyo v'savori, yeranenu el keilchoy. Skoya, thank you. Okay, it worked. Na beven yakirli, befrayi, ni imiele, shavashuyi.
ויאמרו לחי אוי לומדים נבינו ויעבירו לחי אוי לומדים גבו ויגדו לו לחי אוי לומדים עדיו ועדיבון לחי אוי לומדים נאוי והודו לחי אוי לומדים נאווה והבוסיקוס לחי אוי לומדים נאווה והזויה לבבחי אוי לומדים אבבחיים והחויסן לבבחי אוי לומדים דרס ויאמרו לחי אוי לומדים הבינו ויעבירו לחי אוי לומדים הגבו ויגדו לו לחי אוי לומדים עדיו ועדיבון לחי אוי לומדים נאוי והודון לחי אוי לומדים אוי אהבה ויבוסיקוס לחי אוי לומדים אוי אוהזים והזויר לבבחי אוי לומדים אבבחיים והחויסן לבבחי אוי לומדים מלוכו והממשלו לחי אוי לומדים אוי המלוכו והממשלו לחי אוי לומדים היו הדרס ויאמרו לבבחי אוי לומדים אבבבינו והברוכו לבבחי אוי לומדים שכיה Oh,
Ay la
Thank you. What else? A little more on the beat, no? What else do we have? Okay, I think we did enough slow songs. Let's go with something with a beat. Okay. Hey ya da 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 dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dum da 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 dum dum. Hey ya da 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 dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dum. Oh ya da 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 ma yi di ma yi di ma yi di ma yi di da. Di da yo yo di ma yi di ma yi da ma ya di da da. Oh ay ya di ma yi di ma yi da ma yi di da 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 da. Di da yo yo di ma yi di ma yi da ma ya di da di. Oh ay ya di da da ma yi di da da. Dido ya yidi ma yidi da yidi ma yidi ma yidi da oh ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 dido ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi da oh ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 dido ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma ya yidi ma yidi da oh ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 da. Yo yo yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma ya yidi da yidi da hoy ay ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 da. Oh ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi da ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma ya yidi da yidi da hoy ay ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi da hoy ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 da. Ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi da hoy ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi ay ya yidi da da hoy ya yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 da. Di da 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 hoy ay ay di ma yidi ma yidi ma yidi da 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 da. Hoy yidi ma yidi ma ay ay di da da hoy ay ay di ma yidi da yidi ay di da 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 da.
Please find your seats. Please find your seats.
42 years ago, when I was approached with a Hatzah in Chinuch, I was a bit taken aback because I always assumed that I would be involved in a Beis Chabad and be mekarev Yidden, make Balei Tshuva. And it struck me that if one is matzliach in chinuch, if I could successfully establish a bacher auf ein richtigen Weg, that bacher will be a shliach and he will mekarev tens, perhaps hundreds of Yidden to Yiddishkeit. So if you stell weg 10 bachrim, 20 bachrim, 30 bachrim auf ein richtigen Weg, imagine what you achieve. Rabbi Mendy Kotlarski, we all know him standing in the large shoes of his father, Zechreinu Levracha, running the Kinus Hashluchim, being involved with the work of the Shluchim globally. And then I find out that actually he is extremely involved with the chinuch department of Merkaz L'Inyanei Chinuch. And he is in a great part responsible for what's going on here this evening. And I think it's amazing. We're very fortunate that a person in such a level of leadership recognizes and appreciates and is prepared to devote the energy and the resources that such an effort deserves. I would like to suggest Reb Moshe Zechreinu Levracha was a giant in many, many ways. Rabbi Mendy has one up over his father, and that is that he is an ureinikel of Reb Chanya Shagalov, Hashem Yimkim Damai, who literally gave up his life for Chinuch al Taras HaKodesh, who was literally shot in the Soviet Union for teaching Yiddish Kinder Torah and for propagating Yiddishkeit. It is a very special privilege for us to welcome Rabbi Mendy Kotlarski and to hear his words of inspiration. Rabbi Kotlarski.
L'chaim. I don't know if I have the luxury to switch now from the official part of the program and start the Farbrengen a little bit earlier. Hopefully Rabbi Wahlberg will forgive me. But as the program began and Yutes of, and now moved its way into Chofav, how appropriate is it to start and to Farbring on this incredible day, to be able to first say L'chaim. To be able to look back over all the years and the Farbrengens that the Rebbe would do in honor of his father, Ben Yechab Daviv. I want to go back to the 20th anniversary of Chafav, when the Rebbe Farbrenged actually on today's Chitas, that Rabbi Gordon mentioned a little bit earlier, that he had the time to learn when he was on the plane. And as I was learning the Sikha, the Rebbe quotes this pasuk about B'nai Levi, the irony of us sitting over here, all of us celebrating the yahrzeit of Rav Hagoyin Hamakubal, Reb Levi Yitzchak, Shenifter V'nikba Begolos, somebody who dedicated his life to chinuch, to educating people, and in many different ways was the first role model of a Chabad house that had to take the old rules of chinuch and bend them and play with them, engaging people that on Yom Kippur didn't have the luxury necessarily of spending a full day in shul, making chuppahs in bedrooms with a minyan of people that weren't able to see the chas and kala, risking his life and giving it all, because that really is what was the trailblazing lessons that we come to. But as I was sitting and thinking about this whole notion of shluchim and shlichus, it dawned upon me, I'm sitting over here with mechanchim, and many times we hear from people that the celebrated, and it's no question that the celebrated contribution that the Rebbe gave in this post-Holocaust world is undoubtedly the gift of shluchim and shlichus to the world. Caring about every Jew, everywhere in the most farvarfene places, the stories that we grow up with, the stories that we tell in our classrooms, how the Rebbe sent the shliach to the farthest corner to care for the forgotten Yid and pull them back. And as I'm sitting here and thinking about it, and you contrast that to the name of the Moisid, Merkis Le'yani Chinuch, through which the Rebbe sent the shluchim all over the world, and you think about this was the added contribution, because the truth of the matter is it's all about chinuch. And chinuch starts and always started from the beginning of time with the yeshivas, with the teachers, with the mechanchim. My dear father, Olav Hashalom, Rav Moshe Yehuda and Rav Tzvi Yosef, who really was the one who cared for the chinuch office and worked with Rabbi Kaplan, who I watched work together and care about things that others didn't necessarily always have the foresight to think about, would often share the idea that when Yaakov Avinu benched Yehuda, he benched him with this idea of Yodcha ba'oiref oivecha. Your hand is going to be in the nape of your enemy. Why? The Ramik HaKadosh would say, because Ves Yehuda shalach lefanav lahiris lefanav goishna, to establish a yeshiva. And when you are responsible for educating the children, when you are responsible for educating the next generation, Yodcha ba'oiref oivecha, you get to twist. How do they say the story with the wife who comes home the night of the wedding and she tells the husband, you're the head of the house, you're responsible for everything, you're in charge. And he says, and what are you? He goes, I'm your neck. I'm going to turn you in which direction I want you to be. Yodcha ba'oiref oivecha, the mechanchim that are sitting over here and all around the world have their unique and incredible accomplishment and responsibility to be able to direct and train the next generation of Yidden, of Chasidim, of Shluchim. And this is really not something to be overlooked and be taken lightly. It's not something to be second-guessed. This is something that you go all around the world, and on every level, everybody knows that Lubavitchers are different. Famous Ashreinu Matev Chalkeinu Manoyim Gerelenu say that Ashreinu Matev Chalkeinu, you go to the Yidden and they say that it goes really on the Frume Yidden, and the Frume Yidden say that it goes on the Chasidim, and the Chasidim say that it really goes to the Bachrim in the Yeshiva, and the Bachrim in the Yeshiva believe it, that they're in charge of the world. The truth of the matter is that to be able to educate, like you say, the theme of this week's of the Kinus, Beruach Yisrael Sava. You go around the world and we know that our Bachrim, that our Kinderlach, that Lubavitchers are different. Where else could you find a 12, an 8, 10, 12-year-old child, a 14-year-old Bacher that has the stolz, that has the confidence
to go out onto the Fifth Avenues of the world, to the Madison Avenues of the world, to knock on a door, to walk into a office. And it's mind-boggling to think that a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, we all have our stories that will cut off, people would do anything to get a meeting with him, and yet on a Friday, a 13-year-old bacher walks in and he says, hold all calls, I want to have a few minutes with this bacher. Because this boy who can't and never studied English and history and math is being educated Beruach Yisrael Sava, can come in with the Goyen Yaakov, with the Stoltz, to know that the only thing that matters in the world is that I have a Hasidic education. I was brought up in the walls of a yeshiva that taught me that nothing else exists. Ein od milvadai. The only thing that matters is what the Rebbe wants from me. And I can take that and carry that into the world and sit down and be with people and in places that the most educated and the most experienced people in the world would only dream of being. Kenai Nahara, I get to travel around and I see the product of the yeshivas, I see the product of you mechanchim, and they still can't necessarily speak English. But you walk onto a $200 million yacht or onto a private plane, and who's sitting there? Not other executives, somebody who was educated by you. The legendary Rabbi Chadakov, and I see that he has an anicle over here, first and foremost prided himself with being a mechanech. That was what ran through his blood. He wrote a sefer, chinuch Hamechanchim, and in that sefer, he writes that the comparison, and maybe I'll get into trouble for saying this, between a shliach and a teacher is that a shliach has to spend some of his time raising money in outside stuff, but a teacher gets to be fully invested in being fully connected to his Talmidim, to be thinking about his Talmidim, to be educating them, and fully involved in Kedusha. And in this issue and in this matter, Mechanchim have one up and have a little more of a special role than even Shluchim have. Ubechein, I'm going to go back to the Sicha of Chaf Av, where the Rebbe talks about what made Bnei Levi special was that Liolam, that they never separated themselves. They always sat in yeshiva. They were always fully plugged in and connected. And because they were the ones to be fully plugged in and connected to Torah, to Messiah, to everything else that came along with it, they were the ones that when the Yidden ran back 8 Masois after Aaron, Nakoy, and Godel, the Isha Chesed passed away, they chased after the Yidden. And they schlepped them back in. Begashmias, Beruchnias. The Rebbe goes into incredible detail in that Sikha about the uniqueness and the specialty of Bnei Levi and how they were the ones to be able to go out and bring the Yidden back and how it is applicable today. One of the ideas the Rebbe shares is that when it comes to a body, if a parent or an educator hits a child, they come in today in a democracy and they take the kids away, but for some reason when it comes to the neshama and the ruchnius, people aren't as concerned. And this is the role of the Bnei Levi, to be there for the children and to care about the overlooked neshama in the classroom, in the world. And this is really what we stand over here celebrating and learning from the life of Agoyin HaMakubal Reb Levi Yitzchak. There's one sefer that we know of today that Reb Levi Yitzchak gave a haskama to. It was a Agoda Shel Pesach that was published from a Brisker Talmud Chacham, and To me, what always stood out, what was unique about the Haggadah Shel Pesach, is that, and the Rebbe points this out, how does the Torah create a fact and a reality? Haggadah Shel Pesach embodies the idea of chinuch, of being able to share with the next generation the core ideas and the important ideas that were important to the past. How does the Haggadah prove a point? Kemoisha Kasav, Valazei steht in Torah. Because Beruach Yisrael Sava, if you want to be able to make a point and educate the strong, powerful leaders in their communities, as Anash, as Rabbonim, as Shluchim, as fathers of households, how do we do this, Kemoisha Kasav, to make sure that we always source it back to the Rebbe, we always source it back to Torah, and we don't dilute the message that we share in our classrooms. And I have to say that watching my kids in the Moistes chinuch that they go to, I'll give a shout out to Rabbi Lustig and to Oli Torah, watching, but also seeing, Baruch Hashem, where I sit, we always look out for innovation and creativity, and all of the schools today have really upped their game in this context of being able to make Mesorah, Torah, Yiddishkeit so much more relevant, exciting, and fun. And in Mirz Hashem, going into the future, we will have more resources and more opportunities, and the collective impact of all of the mechanchim and all of the moistes working together, being able to be able to share together, to be able to continuously make sure that our mechanchim and our kids are getting the best, most impactful and creative teaching and learning from here on. So I want to finish with a huge Yasher Koyach to the Mi'argenei HaKinus, to Rabbi Kaplan, to Rabbi Lowenthal, to the producers, to the VAD that I know put in a tremendous amount of time, energy, and effort. I saw the conversations. It didn't start today. The creative ideas with the chinuch pitch and with everything else that goes into it. But really, this should be the proud moment when through these doors we hear the Tkab B'Shefer Gadol, and like the Rebbe said, we're going to be able to march towards Mashiach with the Ru'u Gedulim Shegidalnu, the Made in America brand of Hasidim that are positioned to be able to push back against all of the different things, the cultures. One of the things the Rebbe says in the Sikha, in those days, you had the Erev Rav that had to bring along the culture of Mitzrayim that was the superpower, and today we're facing, unfortunately, a much stronger culture of Mitzrayim that our kids have no choice but to be exposed to. And therefore, to be able to push back and make the Hasidim of today that are able to make the Rebbe proud as we march towards Mashiach with the Geula Amitis V'Ashlema take from Yad Mamash. L'chaim.
L'chaim, l'chaim. As Rabbi Kotlarski said, the Farbrengen starts now. The main event you think is right now, but it's really by the Farbrengen. So l'chaim, l'chaim. Zashitkin is walking around with l'chaim. So if you need him, hopefully you know what he looks like. L'chaim, l'chaim. I'm not sure. The producers insisted that the oilem soll verstehen the farnem of people that are here. So we're going to give a kavod to all of the mechanchim and the melamdim from around the globe. You are walking every morning with one mission: to raise chassidische kinder and build the Rebbe's army. And we're going to start, just so you understand the farnem who's here, we're going to start out west. California. Anyone here from California? No? It's glowing. Los Angeles, Goleta, Irvine. We have people from Simcha Monica. We have Mechanchim from Oxnard. It's a place was scheint. If you go all the way down to Arizona, Phoenix and Mechanchim, Scottsdale, where chinuch is brent in the deserts of Arizona. Even in Little Rock, Arkansas. There are melamdim that are teaching b'chol yoim v'yoim b'mesiras nefesh. Now let's go to the capital of the South in chinuch. Who does? Florida. Boca Raton, North Miami Beach, Miami, Hollywood, Lake Worth, and the legendary Coral Springs. They're running out of room in the Rebbe's Moistus in Florida. We need more space there. Coming back to over here, the East Coast, Baltimore, New Jersey, Morristown, Passaic, Robbinsville, Mechanchim are teaching with Akach and Chassidus and Torah. Pennsylvania, we have a lot of Mechanchim from Pennsylvania over here. Pittsburgh, Kingston, Philadelphia, Scranton, Canadensis, L'chaim, L'chaim. And now, Kansiv Hashem Sabracha, New York. Brooklyn, Muncie, Pomona, Spring Valley, Beacon, New York, New City, Airmont. The Rebbe's army is big. Then we go all the way down to the Midwest. By the way, in my school in London, they also didn't teach English, so they didn't teach us the map either. So I don't know where the Midwest is. Chicago, Rabbi Pearlstein, we have Chicago, Mechanchim, who are giving a bren and a barimkai to the Yidden there. Postville. Postville is I don't know if it's a city even. It's a kleine shtetl with a massive impact. And then, let's go global. There's Mechanchim here from South America, Buenos Aires, Paraguay, and Argentina. There's doiris of Chassidim that are coming from there. And now, let's cross the ocean of Mechanchim here from South Africa, Johannesburg, Cape Town. They're teaching on the beautiful places with palm trees down there, but their hearts is in 770. And from there, we have Mechanchim here from Australia, from Sydney, Melbourne. And last but not least, our Chashva MC, Harav Gordon from London, my own hometown. We also had some very Chashva Mechanchim from Eretz Yisrael. We forgot them. Canada. It's steht nicht auf dem Papier. Canada, of course, there's a ton of Mechanchim here from Toronto, Montreal. Alle G'deilim B'Tovim. Wherever you are, in the mountains. Who did I miss? Connecticut. Connecticut. Wherever however many places you say, we miss out. Wherever you are, in the mountains, in the city, in the far-off countries, or right here near 770, you are the Rebbe's Mechanchim, you are the Rebbe's Melamdim. And you are planting neshamas with emunah, Avos Yisrael, and Chassidishkeit that will last forever and ever. L'chaim, l'chaim. And remember, the ikar is the Fabrengen that's going to happen here. We want to see however many tables are here now. We want to see each and every single one of you by the Fabrengen. We actually shut the hotel rooms for the night. L'chaim. I want to take a moment to give a huge yasher koyach to the whole team that are working. You can see their names coming up on the screen over here. It took many, many hours. A huge yasher koyach. You could see them. L'chaim. benching with Rabbi Yarmush, Ms. Machabed. There's benches on your table.
That's by heart. I know. Rabbi Sai mir velen benchen. Yehi shem adanim verachmat v'adelam reshus. Maranan v'rabanan Rabbi Sai nevarech aleinu shachalnu mishaloi. Baruch aleinu shachalnu mishaloi v'tuvay chayinu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hazeh olam kol tov v'tmach Kom pesach zedech mas bil khayrat sem baruch atah Adonai yazon es hakol. Baruch atah Adonai al haaretz v'al hamazon. Baruch atah Adonai b'nei v'rachma v'shalayim amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam b'yedei pri hagofim.
There's a point in every kid's life where they have their first teacher that really believed in them and really cared about them, and it's not a superficial way of like, I care about you or whatever. They show it and you could see that they mean it on their faces.
I remember Avi always had a big smile. He had a lot of energy. He loved to play. He loved sports. He loved to have fun. He had a love for life. In my class, I try to connect with the kids in a way that my class is a lot of fun, and that I notice all the different things that they do to say, oh wow, I like what you're doing there. Oh, you're davening so beautifully. Oh wow, you know, you had a great day today. And to sort of instill into them this love of being who they are, doing their best, having a love for life, wanting to daven and to connect to Hashem and to learn.
I don't know if I've ever had a teacher that was as gifted at making the children feel happy and welcome and excited about learning as he was.
Dem richtigen chinuch ist a sichere Sache, als wird werden a Godel, wo man mich verbindet mit Godel Elokeinu, mit dem Ebersten, wo das der Mocker von Gadlus und Gwuro und Durudruf nimmt ein seine Dalle Dame, der Kind, wenn wächst du.
Even when we're done and the year is over, I want to keep up that connection with my students. This was a year that was important. You weren't just a number on my list. Oh, student number 5. No, you were Avi, for example. You were important to me. How you're feeling, how you're doing is all important. It's not like, well, he was my student, but we've moved on from there. No, he's still my student.
A lot of teachers sometimes feel like they don't have their reciprocation from the kids. And that can be challenging at times, to be giving your all every single day, to come in. So I figured it would be, he would appreciate it and I would appreciate it if I told him how I felt.
A few weeks before, I was by the Ohel and I was writing a letter to the Rebbe, and I was explaining to the Rebbe that this year I took on to teach another class, and it's been actually quite challenging. It's been very difficult. And just a few weeks later, to get this message from Avi, it brought tears to my eyes. Wow, could you imagine this message came out of the blue exactly when I needed it? To think that this is a student that I taught over 10 years ago. To know that all these years later, that Avi was impacted in a positive way. And he felt that warmth and he felt that love. And the experience of being in my class in 2nd grade was something that really helped him overcome the challenges that he was going through. It was really so meaningful, and it touched my soul.
Was die Pele setzer der richtige Mechaner, gleich auf morgen und auf übermorgen, ich sehe wie Beteva b'nei Yodom und befragt noch al Pitera. Am Zet pri Teva Mole das meiste Ditas zu, bei neiten Chais und bei neite Starkheit in Mamschig sein, in Vorsätzen in Chinuch von Elim wie Jenkim.
If you're a teacher and you want to know what's something that I could do, something that I can change, that is going to help to bring out the best in my students, I feel that it is with showing them that you love them and that you care for them. That you see that they were kind to somebody, point that out. It's going to make them want to do it again. And that is something that is going to change your classroom completely.
Und danach ist mir sicher, dass die Eilen wie Jenkin werden Bar Mitzvah und noch Bar Mitzvah. Und seine noch als Talmidim und Mushpoim und Mekablim von dem Mechaner und die alle zusammen näher eine Schnee Mawai, wie die Gemorre sagt, in Tmura, als kommt echt zu dem Aspie und dem Mechaner, was darf noch zukommen in sein Ehe, bis wann es als wird echt an Nähe, Tzadikim, Demim, Lebeirom.
One. Only believe in one Hashem. 2.
Rabbi Zalmi Lowenthal asked me to mention a very important sector of Mechanchim that were omitted by the roll call, and that is those that teach on the online school. Just to share something personal, 51 years ago, I think it's the first time I crossed a border, traveling to camp in Montreal. I was 15 years old, and I went to join the Masmidim group in camp in Montreal, Tafshin Lamed Daled. It was a fascinating experience, and I was zeichet to have a very chashuv Elter Bacher as our learning teacher, as our Magid Shir, our Rosh Yeshiva, and that was none other than our keynote speaker this evening, Rabbi Yaakov Moshe Wahlberg. Rabbi Wahlberg, over the years, was zeicha to inspire many Talmidim across the globe. Tremendous hatzlacha for many years in Ola Torah, in Manchester, today in Kfar Chabad, and Be'ezras Hashem, continue gute gesund, le'erech yamim meshanim tevis, to instill a passion for limud HaTorah, an excitement in learning the Eibishter's Torah, connecting with the Eibishter through the Torah. We should go mechayil al chayil, and it's a very special privilege for us to have as our keynote speaker this evening, Harav Yaakov Moshe Wahlberg.
Some good news I could tell you is that I was told that I should speak about 5 minutes. That was a dover teiv, I'll tell you. It says, Meret wegen Yisurim sheyesh lam kitzvah. That's the dover rishon. The emes is that I came here to speak. It's very hard to speak to such an elam, which kolonu chacham, kolonu nevenim, befrat listening, sitting here tonight. So I would say really, it's bebchinas hareze b'olalamid v'nimtza lomid. I came here to speak, but be'emes I learned a lot, and I listened a lot. I was very, very, very touched by various different things I heard and saw. So I just said that I wanted to share that with you. This week's parsha starts with V'hoya Eikev Tishmon, Mitzvah Sha'odem Dosh Ba'Kevov. And there's Arichus in the Rebbe Siches, Benegeh, the question that L'chura, we find various different places in the Torah that speaks about the schar for doing mitzvahs. And over here, Psamod Namaisa, we're talking about V'shama Avayel Kechel L'cho, Sabris, V'sa Chesed, V'sa Shvua, L'chura, things that come, it's at Bris, Chesed, and Shvua. And here, Montzach Nochmer, not Stam Torah mitzvahs, V'hoyem Shemea Tishmon, nor Nochmer V'hoye Eikev Tishmon, Mitzvah Sh'odem Dosh Ba'Kevov. The Nekudas HaDvarim, the Rebbe's Masber, is that there is the shaykhs of there's the shaykhs that the Eibishter gives. There's a b'china that the Eibishter gives, which is b'chinas the shaykhs of Elikus to Nevroim. Shaykhs will say, dort wo Isarusa de Latata could come to Madrega Velikus, which has the Shachs de Nevroim. And then there's Madrega Velikus, which is Lamaila Mishachs de Nevroim, in Bris, V'chesed, Shvua. And the Eibishter warns that we should have a Shachs to that as well. And how do you have a Shachs to that as well? You have a Shachs to that through the fact that V'hoya Eikev Tishmon Mitzvah Sh'odem Dosh Ba'Kevov. Let me always touch you just again, noch mal 2 minutes. We're sitting here tonight on ein Hore, Mechanchim, Muchshorim, people that are starke Muchshorim. But we have to understand that we find ourselves in a world where, based on some people look at this, there's a musik called, a person grows up, and he grows up and he knows that the ultimate thing is to go on shlichus. That's a very normal thing. I'll share with you a personal experience. I remember sitting in Olateda with a bocher. It was a Talmud. And I was trying to speak to him about getting his life together. So he turns to me, he says, I want to tell you that the worst case scenario that could be with me is that I'll be like you. If I'll be unsuccessful, totally unsuccessful, so I will also get a job in Olateda, like you, and continue life. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember who the bacher was. I don't remember who this boy was. I don't know where he is today. Maybe he's sitting here. But I'll call upon him. I don't know. But that's what he told me. This is what he told me. And what he told me was, that's what he told me. I don't remember getting insulted. I don't remember getting angry. I don't remember who he is. But the Nekudas Hadvarim is that it was embedded in him that the job that I had was a job which was totally for a leyutzlach. Someone that doesn't make it to go on shlichus, and someone that doesn't make it to become somewhere, something, and becomes a malamed. And Memela, when a younger man gets married, a year after the wedding, and then they go to his wife, or his wife meets someone, he asks him, what are you doing? What are you doing? So she, like with a low tone, the little bent over eyes, says, my husband is getting a job in Mesa. It's not for permanent. It's only temporarily developed till we make it. Then al derazeh, you come into shul, and you're saying to someone, what's going on? And again, I'm just saying like this. We speak tonight, and we speak about the gewaltige Zach von der Minyan. Speak about the gewaltige Zach von der Minyan. But there has to be, I can't see anything over here. I just don't see anything. Mr. Rabbi Kaplan was reading from something, so I'm not reading from anywhere. But I'll call upon him. We have to realize that there's two things. There's a Metzias where a person, in Chassidus Retzach Harum, very, very stark, that there's an Indian that a person does something what you're supposed to do regardless. Nasa, Kabbalah Seil, Nishnegeya, you have to know this is the Kavanah. And then there's the Indian of Nishma. And Nishma is to der Herren that what you're doing is a gute Zach. And granted, the Rebbe speaks about it, the Sich and Shefte Mechelich of Tes, which the Rebbe discusses that the reason why it says Nasa v'Nishma, the Pashto Pshat why it says Nasa v'Nishma is because the Nas, in order for the Nasa to be a proper Nasa, it has to be before the Nishma. Higdimu Nasa l'Nishma. The Iker is the Higdimu Nasa l'Nishma, that the Nasa is not coming after the Nishma, the Nasa is coming before the Nishma. But over there the Rebbe talks fakert, that the Nishma has to come after the Nasa because Nishma is greater than Nasa. And what's the Nishma? The Rebbe talks Satif Zach, that there's the Ratzon Elyon and there's the Tainug Elyon, and a person has to deher, there's bittul to the Ratzon, and then there's the Herrn, that this is the Tainug of the Eibishter. A person has to deher, who's sitting over here, all the people that are sitting here, that are related to chinuch. We're not going to get involved. What's going on in his life and what brought him to chinuch. But a person has to realize this, the Ashreinu Matev Cholkein. Everyone said this, and I'm saying it the same thing. I'm not saying any chidush. And the only thing I'm saying a chidush is that a person has to really understand it. You have to really understand the Ashreinu Matev Cholkeinu, that the Eibishter was Maimed Oisanu, B'mokim Atev, B'mokim Ha'er. Now we could be the people that have a shaykhis to be mechanech and to bring the Eibishter down into the hearts and the minds of Yiddish kinder. And the Rebbe's kinder, befrat the Rebbe's kinder, alle kinder. And to understand, to say there's two inyanim. This first inyan is mitzvah shaden dash b'akevav. You do something even if it's mitzvah shaden dash b'akevav, you deher the kavana. But then there's the inyan of the Ashreinu Matev Cholkeinu, that a person should deher this inyan. That's one word, and it's not a word, I'm not telling you psachidish, everyone knows this. It's a davar aposhet, that in order for a person to be a proper mechanech, A proper mechanech, he has to derher the tirekeit, the yeker of what he's doing. The yeker of what he's doing. And to derher this Indian, I don't know exactly, I remember a Biel once verbringing, was speaking about a melech, which was very, very busy, and he was fearing milchomis, when he was spending days and nights with meetings with all kinds of ministers and generals and meisters and geschäften. And he had a ben yochid. And that ben yochid, he didn't have really so much time for him. There wasn't so much time for him. And Lepel, at night, he would go into the room of the ben yochid and look at the ben yochid. And the heart and his nefesh, the connection to the ben yochid, was deeper than everything else. A person has to realize that this Indian that we're doing, the Indian that we're doing, is something which is be'etzem the dover achi niflo. A dover achi niflo, that we should have this Indian. That the Indian soll sich ablegen. There's Sorgen und Übersorgen und Bekabel sein. Und Bekabel, weißt du, man sagt, schon ja seine Ische, weißt doch, Kibbel Olav Sadin, ich weiß, schon seine Kirzene. There's an Indian of the herring that this is mamash achitev. That's one thing I want to say. I'm not saying any chiddush. And then another word, and which is maybe even more important, to understand that in order to give over to a child and to give over chinuch, so there's common tactics and common yonim, beautiful things that were shown in the videos and with the melamdim and how they teach and then the zinc to megita chayas and you show things. But l'chel reish, there has to be that the melamed and the magid shir and the person that's asking in chinuch should be believe pnima in the minyan. It's giving over. I'm being katsa. I'm going to finish in a minute. When you talk about, let's say, parnosa, a person has to have parnosa. So you go to a place of parnosa, you go to a seminar talking about parnosa, this tactic. Just gain some Rebbe and ask him about parnosa. You take a look at the letters. The Rebbe tells you, the willst haben parnosa, gibt's doke, hab emuna, hab pitochen. Das ist parnosa. But Rebbe, this is parnosa. You want to be a good mechanech, you want to be a good melamed, sei aid wie man darf sein. You want to give a kid a chayes and limud atera, so you have to instill in yourself a chayes and limud atera. You have to be a yid that when your Talmud is thinking, what is my melamed doing right now, 11 o'clock at night? What's he doing? Bei him soll sein Ogelig bepschitus, as es lernt. And he comes next day und sagt, as redt wegen Aid von Lernen. Aid, was lernt, und ich begeben zum Ebersten, und ich begeben zum Rebben, und ich begeben zu der Kavana Pnimis. That's the message Pnimi that a child gets, and that's a message which is an eternal message. And that could only happen if it's true. And everyone has to understand that his truth. We're not talking about, what am I, Bamas? What are you, Bamas? No. You have, the Rav of Kfar Chabad told the Rebbe that es wird gewinnt zugepasst von Kfar Chabad zu haben a besserer Rav. And the Rebbe told him, Siz biyotcha. I want to conclude, I'm just concluding now, whoever is... I said that already a few times already. I'm concluding right now with a little story, because they asked me before that they want to know what's going to be my conclusion. So this is what I thought of, and so I have to halten Wort. So I read this somewhere. And he says that that he was his father was a Yid, was a Holocaust survivor. He lived in Eretz Yisrael. His father was a Holocaust survivor. He worked very, very hard, didn't have much parnasa, and he was a ben yochid. And his father would come home every night after a long day's work. And when he walked into the house, right across the door, there was a tzedakah pushka. And he would put his hand, every night he would put his hand in his pocket and take out 3 coins. And he would take out 1 coin and he would say, "Thank you, the Eibishter, that you gave me a child." He had 1 child. He was a Holocaust survivor. He had 1 child. "Thank you, Eibishter, that you gave me a child." Then he would take the other coin, to take a 2nd coin, and he would say before they put in the 2nd coin, "Thank you, Eibishter, that my child is learning Torah." And he would take the 3rd coin, and he would say, "Please, Eibishter, see to it that he should continue learning Torah." And we could conclude that we could take out 3 coins and you say, "Thank you, Eibishter, that we have a shaykhus to the Rebbe. Thank you, Eibishter, that our children have a shaykhus to the Rebbe. And please, Eibishter, see to it that our children should be'emes have a shaykhus pnimi to the Rebbe, and ultimately we should bring the geula amitis v'ashlema b'karev mamish."
L'chaim, l'chaim, brothers, l'chaim, chassidim, l'chaim, friends. L'chaim, l'chaim, news, or l'chaim, l'chaim. I can see nothing over here. As unaccustomed as I am to speak in public, that's my father's line. Please picture with me for a moment a scene from my classroom. Let's say one of the hard times, the middle of Tavis. Mid-Tavis. I'm tired, and so I'm less in control. My Talmidim can feel it, and it's not good at all. They're not focused on the class, and they're starting to play shtick. I'm growing more worried, and I must act quick. I'm stressed out and anxious, and I'm nervous and uptight, like right now. My class doesn't seem to be going right. I'm in a mini golus, and I need to break free. I must change the temperature, make it more comfy. So I give a geshrei from the bottom of my heart. By the way, this is legit, I do this. I close my eyes, and I see what comes out. That was just an example. The kids are watching in amusement. They don't know what just happened. What's going on over here? But I'll tell you, it changed the whole game. The Talmidim and I were just transported to a new plane. Whatever existed before exists no more. It just takes a second, and just like that, the whole day gets changed. All the possible disciplinary issues for the rest of the day are avoided. The kids are happy. They had a fun experience just now. It took a second, but it lasts a long time. They go home happy. The learning goes well. They feel accomplished. It's amazing. My friends, Chassidim, we have Nigunei Chabad. Nigunei Chabad take us out of our golus and could put us in a geula mode. We'll get to that soon. This is what we do. When we get stuck, we break free, we go into geula mode. A niggin, they say, is kulmus halev. a pen of the heart. The pashtus, what that means, is that you use a niggin to express what you're feeling in your heart. But perhaps we can say that it's a tool that could be used to impress onto the heart. When we're feeling like we're in galus, we could use a niggin to bring out a geula within ourselves. We're so rich, Chassidei Chabad, we have hundreds of nigunim. There are great box of tools to use whenever you need, in yourselves, in your lives, in your family. But here, Mechanchim, in your classroom, try it, it works. I'm sure many do it already, but it's incredible. In my class, yes, we focus a lot on nigunim. We teach about 280 this year. And at the end of the year, we give out a sefer, as you can see. I don't know, you saw the picture before. There you go. This is Ari. This is my Talmud. Ari, come up. Come here. Aryeh Lowenthal, Kinderlach. He's part of the whole office. I'm told that Aryeh spends an hour, a full hour, every Shabbos, going through niggin after niggin after niggin, singing with his father. Even when he goes away, he takes the sefer along with him. The boys, they also get an MP3 player so they listen and they could learn the nigun. It affects their whole family. They sing by their Shabbos tables. That's how I got hooked on nigunim. My younger brother, Meir Shleimer, is sein gesund. He came home one time from Rabbi Tiffenbrun's class with a niggin, Yedidi Roy. I never heard it before. And I was jealous. My younger brother knows anything. I don't know. So that's what made me curious about nigunim. Until then, since then, I have a geschmack in nigunim. All thanks to a malamed, not mine, a different malamed. So you can have an impact on a greater crowd. You don't know how far it'll go. In my class, we also daven with a lot of nigunim and nigunim Chabad on almost every part. Even when there's different tunes like Baruch Shamar, so we do Neida B'Yehuda for Baruch. We always try to find a Chabad geschmack and nigin for something. And there's a siyat that sat in my class, and many people sit in my class, and one of them, he's not a Lubavitcher, he lives in Far Rockaway, and it came a summer a few years ago, and he became a counselor in one of the Litva Shadei camps, and he told me afterwards, he said that he's saying davening with them all the Chabad nigunim that he heard in our class. So while we have so many nigunim, there's Deira Shvi. We have a select few nigunim we know, the Rebbe's favorites, if we're allowed to say this about the Rebbe. Favorite. There was one niggin in particular that is a real geula dika niggin. And that is the niggin of Reb Levi Yitzchak, the niggin HaKofis. Let me share with you 1 or 2 points about this niggin. The Reb Levi Yitzchak said that it was sung by the Alter Rebbe's HaKofis. Rabbi Tzimchana shared that it was sung by the Reb Levi Yitzchak's HaKofis. And the Rebbe said once by Tzin HaMelech b'Mesiboy that he heard it from his father, and the Rebbe took it to a whole new level. L'chatchila riber. The Rebbe always started from the high part. It's not the beginning, but the Rebbe started from there. And so many countless times the Rebbe started the niggin, whether it was Erev Yom Kippur, a serious day, Erev Yom Kippur, the Rebbe started this niggin after the Sicha, the bracha to Anash. Moitzi Yom Kippur, going into Zman Simchaseinu, whether, of course, Simchas Torah goes without saying, Purim, and many times at the end of Sichas, Shabbos Nachamu, the Minei Azlina, we're coming from Shabbos Nachamu, the Rebbe once ended a Sicha, V'oid, V'hua Ikar, Yarada, Yarada, so many times. This is the one that I was thinking about a lot the last few weeks. Tafshin and Aleph, Le'esata, the last time that we were zoicha to hear the Rebbe, after Tisha B'Av was Nidcha, fasted on Sunday, after Ma'ariv and Avdallah, everybody knows probably the video, the Rebbe turned around and took a siddur and what happens? Tisha B'Av, Churban, Golus, sadness, and we're moving forward towards Chamisha Asar B'Av, times of Geula. And this is the niggin that the Rebbe used to go with that thrust towards the Geula. May we be zoicha, take it from Yad Mamish, to go from our Golus, personal Golus, general Golus, to the Geula HaAmitis VaHashleima Ayidei Mashiach Tzidkeinu. And the Rebbe will take ganz Klal Yisrael. But the children, the kinderlach, they're going to go first. Heim hikiruhu tchila. They're going to point with a finger and say, Hine zeh Mashiach ba. And the Rebbe will lead us with a nigin. The nigin, yadada, yadada, hey. Shh, 1 second. We're going to fabring all night. We're going to have a great time. But please look at the screens for a moment. And let the Rebbe lead us. And may we be zoiche to see be'enei basar, begashmis, the Rebbe taking us out of Golus. Everybody please join along in the nigin.
אז wie צדיקים דמים לבלם, מלאכס כמה וכמה רבונים, seien sie sich nicht, was ist mit der Kehl Dmomo Dako, und bei sie ist das Arash Godel, und Ruach Gdele, und Farekes Horim, וכו'. Also wir seien sich Balabatim, nicht Rabonim, ich machen den Emerson Rasch. Ay, 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 hey!
nachlosecho Hoy murei 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 venasi madu voylo Hoy beligo shio esamecho Hoy vorei tes nachlosecho Hoy murei venasi madu voylo Hoy shio esamecho Hoy vorei tes nachlosecho Mado oilo Sabe Oi go balo bis boys violo yo what is lose roi Roy we go gan in the show ye magadoya Kan sadi we go gan in the show ye magadoya Mamma kan sadi Hoy go malbis boys violo yo need the roy Hoy go malbis boys violo Hey, empire him like a chunky dumb vodka body. Ay, 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 did it, la 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 la. Oh, ay, ay, did it, my, ay, 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 oh, ay, 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 did it, la 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 la. Ay, 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 did it, my, ay, 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 ay. Did it, bum, boy, did it, bum, bum. Did it, bum, boy, ay, 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 ay. Did it, da 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 da. Mama, oh. When you see look and blow, I believe that, oh, I believe that, oh, I believe that, I believe that, you die. When you see look and blow, oh yeah, see below, see her, be low, mother die. Ah, see below, see her, be low, mother die. I can see love and love, oh, I believe that, we I believe that. Hey, yeah, see below, see her, be low, mar me lay my die. Ah, see below, see her, be low, my die. Say you know, selling to my look, hey, or in the yak boy. Hoy ver palatsi so de in how ho in sim khose say shalom tu balun hey ori be yagoy hoy be khala simcha say you do shalom tu balun hey ori be yagoy tu me khamri be khala say so de how ho simcha say you do shalom tu balun hey ori be yagoy tu me khamri be khala say so de how ho Hoy tayr bider, wel wir weiter sind. Wir wollen wir weiter sind. Der Leben schon geben gesund zu leben, wenn wir vorne zu, wir wollen wir weiter sind. Wie tayr bider, wir wollen wir weiter sind. Wir wollen wir weiter sind. Der Leben schon geben gesund zu leben, wenn wir vorne zu, der bleiben wir wollen wir weiter sind. Wie tayr bider, wir wollen wir weiter sind. Wir wollen wir weiter sind. Der Leben schon geben gesund zu leben, wenn wir vorne zu, wir wollen wir weiter sind. Hi higher, wir wollen wir weiter sind. Wir wollen wir weiter sind. Der Leben schon geben gesund zu leben, wenn wir vorne zu, der bleiben wir weiter sind. Hi higher, wir wollen wir weiter sind. Wir wollen wir weiter sind. Der Leben schon geben gesund zu leben, wenn wir vorne zu, der wir wollen wir weiter. Higher, breathe. Skaya, חבר'ה. Seid gebencht.
Ma'ariv is beginning now in the hall here. Ma'ariv is beginning now in the hall. There are mincha ma'arivs on a chair by the main door to the hall. Following Ma'ariv, there will be a Fabringen in the State Ballroom with Rabbi Wahlberg. The Elam is invited. And now, with the Fabringen, the real Kinus begins.
Does someone need to come over to the Amud? Where are they? Does someone need the Amud right now?
Mizrach v'Shemina Esrei is in that direction. Mizrach v'Shemina Esrei is in that direction. V'hurach v'michaber avim liyash keser b'lash v'aviv liyach. Adinai heishi amalach aneinu v'yim kareinu shema.
Adinoi tzoi simanu mizgovlanu.
Amen. 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 Yeshua Abba Barak Yol, my Yisrael. Amen. The Fabringen is now starting in the state ballroom. The state ballroom is to your left. When you exit outside the doors, it's to your left. Come, find your place, arum the tish. Those that come late will have to find a place. Other afen tish, other unteren tish. Rabbi say the staff need to clear the hall, to clean up, set up, v'chulu v'chulu. So if you can just make your way towards the Afen Tish, Unteren Tish, all the different options, whatever works best for you. Yashakayach.